Good lord. Well, better late than never, right? Apologies for the delay there, but my hardware decided to be difficult, and well, what are you gonna do? How's it going? I saw you guys chatting away there about the Death Watch purge. Big sad for sure. Alright, I have my Warp Spider Phoenix lore to do, of course, but I got these shrines as well. I gave them a quick aerosol primer and a little bit of a zenithal sort of effect with a gray. And I'm just going to give them a quick dirty wash here before jumping back to the Warp Spider. How's it going, Alfarius? Welcome to your stream. Thanks for carrying the mantle. You've shouldered the burden. And I'm just gonna put this shit on everything. How's it going, Francois? How's it going, Alfarius? You guys both collect Death Watch? What are the odds? I am also Alfarius. Nice. What do I think of the new models? I quite like the new models. The Sanguinary Priest is... Look, it's a fine model. I do not have the feelings I did about Lamarty's, alright? I think... when you imagine a Primaris modern Sanguinary Priest, that's pretty much what I imagined. What's the general consensus on your end about those new models? I should have put up a poll, eh? I quite like the chat poll feature. I should use it more often. I also wonder if maybe seeing, you know, a new captain, a new Sanguinary Priest, is there hopes for a new Sanguinor? That's the question. Are they stringing us along to just blow our minds with a new Sanguinor? I don't know. You miss Tycho. Tycho or Taicho? I kind of like Taicho better. Let's see. Let's see if I can get a poll going for chat. Nope, not like that. Start a poll. Are we hot or cool on the new Blood Angels character models? Actually, it might be better to Sanguinary Priest or New Blood Angels Captain. Here, I'll put some exclamation points for enthusiasm, okay? And we'll start up this poll. Now, I am of the preference of the Sanguinary Priest. I feel as though, you know, a Sanguinary, a Blood Angels Captain, like, why doesn't he have a jump pack? The model doesn't have a jump pack. I'm not crazy, right? The newly revealed Blood Angels Captain. He's a guy on foot, right? You're jealous about the apothecary having a chainsword? Yep, I think a lot of people will be. It's the new way they've evolved the game. It's not about having an immersive world for your models to kind of represent. That is a thing of the past. Now it's all about having a model available to buy to allow you to represent the world that you'd like to. Even if you have the bits in your bits box, and even if, by all logic, all in-world logic, that Sanguinary Priest or that apothecary should be able to take whatever they want from the armory. It's a competitive game, you see. It's very serious. It's difficult to balance. The Salamanders had a very cool one in 9th. Are you speaking of Herath Shen? My boy Shen? Yeah, I may have dabbled with some Shen. Not enough bling for a captain? Yeah, he's quite understated for a captain. I can agree with that. Especially a Blood Angels captain. I've always imagined the Blood Angels to be a little bit more ostentatious than other chapters, you know? A little bit more beautiful, you know? Because of the whole Renaissance kind of sculpted armor aesthetic they got going on. They seem to appreciate the aesthetics. Whereas, you know, something on the opposite end of the spectrum would be like the Iron Hands, which would be all like pure cold pragmatism. Well, at least according to my understanding. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm pretty sure the Iron Hands... I don't think that's incorrect to say that the Blood Angels would care more for such frivolous things compared to the Iron Hands. That miss any spots here? I don't think so. Well, this wash is stronger than I thought it would be. Turned everything kind of brownish, but I think after a dry brush, it'll restore more of that neutral tone it once had. But this stream is not about these shrines. I just wanted to get them done since I was hobbying. This is weird music, and I apologize. Let me just fast forward a little bit. You know, I don't control what's on this playlist. It's whatever we get. Oh, look, this one is weird too. We're gonna skip this one. You want to play a final game with the Black Spear before the Purge, but the Hurricane doesn't want you to. Well, you know what? That sounds like you just don't want to. Okay? That sounds like you're making up excuses. I played against my buddy Army's Black Spear. He wanted to have a last hurrah as well. And you know what? And he pointed this out. The Black Spear Task Force seems to really jive with the Pariah mission format, which kind of sours it a little bit more, especially for my buddy Army, because he built his Death Watch army fairly recently, and they were supposed to be like his tournament army or his event army. Alright, so we're going to paint some water. We'll have Stegadon Scale and Temple Guard Blue. Yeah. I'm just going to do a little bit of blending. Not a ton of water surface area, but it's there, so we got to do it. Hence the need to neuter Deathwatch. I don't think that's not a justifiable reason, Francois. Jeez. Gonna get me going here. Yeah, if Deathwatch was so strong, they could just increase their points. I think they don't want to, they don't want to deal with having to balance so many Space Marine sub-factions, I think. This is my assumption. Or maybe they just want to throw a wrench into the expected gears and, you know, take away Deathwatch so they can sell it back to everybody later. And they can be like Thanos' henchmen and say, "Rejoice! Hear me and rejoice, for I bring you a Deathwatch Codex, and all of your mixed kill teams are back. You can buy it for $80. And a new Captain Artemis. New Primaris Watchmaster." That sort of thing, you know? I could easily see that happening. Quite easily. Oh man, I really should have grabbed one of my Eldar bases as a reference, eh? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This could lead to some terrible inconsistencies. Well, maybe it won't matter. Let me catch up with chat here. Goblin, how's it going, Goblin? Welcome to the Cool Guy Club. It's not because they're too stressed because of the DEI. What are you doing, Francois? How? How is it because of the DEI? No! Oh my god. Alfarius is asking, I'm glad they didn't do the same to Grey Knights, seeing as the whole model range is outdated. Then I'd be down to 2 armies. Hey, that's an excellent point. Why? I guess... Yeah, I guess because they have a dedicated product line, and the Death Watch are piggybacking off of Space Marine kits. It just still feels bad. You should just have this alternative way to play Death Watch with the Inquisition. It doesn't feel good to sell people on this idea of, hey, lovingly kit bash and, you know, represent Marines from different chapters and then flex that on the tabletop and then take it all away. That's, ugh, it's gross. Big gross. I'm gonna move my hobby space around a little bit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Just need to have my blend in front of me so it's just easier to mix here, you know? Got a little bit of Stegadon scale and a little bit of Temple Guard blue, and they're gonna mingle like that. And there's our array. Beautiful. Uh-oh. Might have to skip this song, too. YouTube doesn't like music with vocals. Francois says the 5 chicks that play can't decide the best way to build their army, and the kids cry after building bad combos. I don't know. I don't know. That argument isn't too persuasive with me. I mean, if that's the case, why is GW trying to? Well, it seems like simplification is more so coming from, to me. Okay, hear me out. But I feel like the simplification of the game is more to appease tournament sensibilities than casual audiences. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I don't think there's no merit to what Francois is saying. I think that is a consideration at GW. I think that's probably likely, but I don't think it's the root cause of losing Deathwatch as a faction, right? No way. Oh, you can't hear my music, so it's okay? Perfect. Oh, jeez. Here I am getting worried over nothing. I think YouTube still hears it, though. My last stream had a notice. A notice on the YouTube studio. Not a strike or anything serious, but it does give me consideration for appeasing the YouTube gods, you know? How's it going, C.R. Smith? Oh, question. I'm just catching up on chat. Hey, George Grassa. Apologies if that's poor pronunciation. Still waiting for some Iron Warriors love from G-Dubs. Waiting. Oh boy, waiting for Iron Warriors love from G-Dubs. I remember when the Space Marine supplements came out in 8th edition, and I was like, surely, surely that right around the corner we're gonna get some Chaos Space Marine supplements paired with a character just like the Loyalists. It only makes sense, right? Oh, what a fool I was. How naive. Sierra Smith has a question. I've had a thought in my head for a while. What if we got an animation of Sanguinus versus Horus with the duel of the Fates as the background music. Is this dumb or cool? I think it's... Oh, here we go. I'm just like triggering myself. I think it'd be really cool for a fan animation, but GW doesn't want those, right? So... it would be cool. You know, it'd be a fun, cool video. Like, I could imagine it being something I would send to people. Send to people I know who aren't into 40k. Look how awesome this is. Look how passionate the fans are. Having met many awesome teenagers, you disagree with that statement, Alfarius? Okay. Okay. The simplicity of 10th is actually what got you into it. And I've looked at the Horus Heresy and I'm overwhelmed. I don't feel that way with 10th. That's a... Okay, that's an interesting point. That's a valid thing to consider. I think there's a line, though, between taking away thematic and narrative flavor and simplicity for, you know, allowing people to enter into the hobby. Right? Because you can have both. You can simplify things for new players, or for, you know, people to not feel overwhelmed when they're looking from the outside in, and then not take away chapter masters for Space Marines. Things like that, right? There are choices that I think are poor. Let's see, where are we in chat? YouTube will attack anyone for any reason. They banned Morning Glory for streaming for a week after he showed off an airsoft pistol. That sucks. That certainly sucks. The Hopium was reals, yep. Fan animations, yep. RIP TTS. Yeah, definitely pour one out for TTS. Cantor lives. Hey, I have become quite endeared to the Crimson Fist as of late. Very cool chapter. Cantor lives indeed. But I'd rather have an Iron Warriors character before a Pedro Cantor resculpt. Or even before a Vulcan Histan resculpt, man. Let's be real. And now's, like, and that's one good thing about 10th edition, right? Like, you have a system where anyone can use any character, because sub-factions are not even considered, right? They're not real. They're not real unless you have a book of your own, like your own codex, like the World Eaters and Death Guard, right? So, because of that, why not release an Iron Warriors Night Lord's character, right? Now's the time. We got Night Lord's kill team, which certainly makes people feel... It felt like a win for Night Lord's fans, certainly. I think the character's more missed, though. The kill team gives you bits to play as legionaries, whereas a character would give you something you perhaps may have been longing for. A named character. Truth? Awesome. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I'm happy to hear that you feel like I'm speaking the truth here. I don't know if this should be bright blue. Yeah, probably, right? Because you're going to have the brightest area closer to the cliffs. You don't want a Cantor resculpt, you love his old model too much? I don't think his old model's bad. It's just a scale issue, right? I mean, I'm okay with. That's like part of the Primaris issue, right? Issue. Like, you can just have models at different scales, and that is for us to imagine that they are, you know, better than those older sculpts, right? There's nothing wrong with having models of different scale from different time periods on the table. Like, you're putting plastic toys down on a table regardless, and having to imagine that your dice rolls mean something anyways, right? I don't think it's too much more of an ask. Okay. Release a Hansu and Demonculaba. I can never say that word. Yeah, probably not. But you know, just pull an Iron Warriors character from old lore and new lore. There should probably, like, for maximum tastefulness, right? You'd want a veteran of the Long War character from each Trader Legion, like a Karn type, if you can, right? Or a Typhus. I think that would, like a Corpharon for Word Bearers, right? You'd want someone to make those legions which currently feel like not special snowflakes equal to the ones that are special snowflakes, right? The ones that get extra special treatment. They re-released, or they released Uriel Ventress, but not Hansu. That is, that is sad shit. Yep. Ultramarines just need to have like 5 times the amount of characters than every other subfaction. It's only fair. It's only fair. Look, I want to be an Ultramarines defender, but sometimes GW makes it hard. Like, come on. I'm trying, GW, to make people like the Ultramarines. And then, yeah, you make those choices. I wish they'd at least change the resin to hard plastic. It does need to be a fully different model. Yeah, I guess it must be a technology thing. They can't just scan or create a sprue, a mold for old resin. Because the pewter became fine cast resin, right? And it seems, I feel like they would have, right? They would have converted the pewter sculpts to plastic if it was within the realm of a possibility. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a... I should ask Outer Circle that question. I'm pretty sure he'd say it's not something you can do. Okay, so for this water, I wanted to, like, have some OSL on there, but geez, how are you supposed to do that? So here's my OSL color. And I'm thinking maybe you just want to put like flex. I think it just might look like shit. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We'll see. Worst case scenario, I have to paint over everything. Let me catch up on chat. Screw the Ultra Smurfs. You're just a hater, Alfarius. You're just a hater. Ultramarines are... they're important. They're a good foil for the word bearers, and they're a good bright reflection for the Alpha Legion, if I'm honest. Before I got into the lore of 40k, I only knew the memes and thought Gilliman was married to Yvrain. Yep, memes will do that. Look, memes are a fun time, but I've, like, grown to... I've kind of grown to despise the misinformation produced by memes often. The Arcs of Omen stuff had an Iron Warrior as a main bad guy, but nothing happened. Same thing for the Disco Lord. You would think the Disco Lord would be a cool Iron Warriors lad, but not, barely a footnote. Yeah, the Disco Lord's an odd one, because he's kind of like a mishmash of... Like, Night Lords players will like him because of the Chain Glaive. I think Word Bearers players will like him because of the Demon Engine angle. And Iron Warriors players like him because of the, well, I guess Demon Engine and the adjacent Warpsmith kind of association, right? The Arcs of Omen's bad guy is not an Iron Warrior, unfortunately. Vashtor is his own entity. He is a Dark Mechanicum guy. Probably something for 11th edition, if I had to guess. Right, like, you can imagine a 11th edition box set, like how Age of Sigmar just had a Skaven release with Stormcast. We'll probably have some Primaris models, or some new Space Marines, and the Dark Mechanicum. I think that's probably what it will be. It could be Emperor's Children, too. If nothing happens with Vashtor, I'm just like... Why are you here? The yellow on the cabbage makes a world of difference for the better, in my opinion. Yes, Francois, I totally agree. It makes a big difference. You watched a video on the history of Games Workshop and Forge World. In the beginning, they wanted to be hard plastic but couldn't afford the proper machinery. Bright pink highlights. I don't know. Bright pink highlights on what? On the cabbage? I'm gonna need someone to make a video tutorial for me. You guys are asking too much. Oh, George. I see, George. Not Vashtor. The Iron Warrior was commanding an arc. Fair enough. Fair enough. My mistake. I appreciate the correction. Let it be known. And yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, it's just GW throwing you a bone. Is all that was. You talk about Arcs of Omen, like, dude, what is the Lion even doing? All I want is a conversation between him and Gilliman. I just want some closure from Unremembered Empire, from the Horus Heresy, from all of the trials and tribulations they've been through. And it's like, no, he's just going to warp around in his forest, warp portal, and go wherever we need him to go. And we're not going to give you any satisfying narrative interaction between the two loyalist Primarchs. Cool. That's great. That's exactly what I want when Primarchs come back. I can't wait for Russ to come back and not interact with Lion or Gilliman. It's going to be amazing, guys. It's so cool. What a cool game. What rich lore. God. I can't help myself sometimes. I just get so annoyed by GW's decisions. I don't know how I'm feeling about these spots. Maybe I'm dumb. Hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Maybe you just paint the water, like every other Eldar base I've done, right? And then you just, because it's glossy and has its own reflections, it'll just reflect. It'll just reflect automatically. Does that make sense? Yeah, maybe I'm overthinking it, trying to paint reflections. I don't know. I've lost all confidence in what I'm doing here with this water. The line is force jumping and not building a Imperium Secundus. Believe it. Because it would be like poetry, it rhymes. Yeah, +1 for my favorite meme. Well, one of my favorite memes. Lion did interact with Dante and Arcs of Omen's narrative, right? That's fairly significant, right? It's not the Gilliman interaction that I personally want, but he didn't. I feel like I would be aware if the Lion rebuked Dante as Regent of Imperium Nihilus. Maybe rebuked isn't the right word. You know, pushed back, didn't acknowledge. You guys know what I mean. If anyone is dumb here, it's me for letting anxiety 2 years of my life. Look, we all have our demons, okay? And look, and it seems like you've defeated them. You've defeated your demons, and so Trimare, I think that's something to be proud of. Yeah, anxiety sucks though. So, oh yeah, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. For some reason, the stream keeps cutting for you on your PC. Switch to your phone. Interesting. YouTube Studio's telling me the connection is excellent, so I think it probably is a problem on your end, okay? I'm gonna try something different on the water on this side. Let's get some Hexearth Flame and mix it in with the Stegodon scale and see what happens. Maybe if I just tint the base color of our water, then with all the subsequent layers of water effects, it'll look like it's part of the environment. Maybe. I feel like this is just cope. This is just the words of someone who is desperate. The word I'm looking for is in fact refute. Excellent, Alfarius. Thank you. You are correct. Excellent recap, George, of the Lion Dante interaction. That's my new canon. Since you seem, or I seem to like sci-fi, do I like the Dune series? I like the movies. I think they're neat. I appreciate them as a progenitor to many sci-fi properties, including 40K, but I have not read the books or anything like that. Excellent point, Tramari. Cypher's another lion loose end where it's like, okay, come on, what's going on? I've kind of had this opinion about 40K that, you know, if lore were to be advanced and factions were to swap, it would be such a objectively like bad move, like a slap to the face of fans who invested in. For example, if Salamander's lore advanced and they became traitors or something lame, something cringe like this, right? I think it'd be so rude and off-putting to those fans, right? Now, is Cypher and the Fallen an exception to that? If the Lion came back in Arcs of Omen, and GW was like, hey, Cypher now has 2 data sheets. You can play him part of the Fallen, as if the Lion never came back, or you can play him as part of the Dark Angels, because that's how the lore went, hypothetically. How does that feel? Yeah, I chose Salamander as a particularly egregious example. A particularly distasteful choice. I don't know, I think this idea to make the water have like green reflections might have been a little too ambitious, maybe. That's a good point, Francois. Cypher certainly is it is just a title. So what is the role? I'm not a Dark Angels expert. What is the role of the Cypher? I ask because that would inform, I guess, what you'd expect to have happen with relation to the Lion returning, right? That's just where my brain goes. Well, GW did try something with a new companion squad. Still missing a Terminator companion. Think Knight Cenubium. The ones with the wrist plasma weapons. Right, from 30k. One of my favorite things about 40k is being able to homebrew your own stuff and add it in lore-wise. What about you? Yes, Sierra Smith, absolutely. A+. I wish I could heart that comment. It's like the best part of tabletop wargaming is the stuff that we can do and create. Like, if you want to play... Like, I just play a video game if I want to play someone else's game. You know what I mean? The coolest part is being able to homebrew your own stuff. Create your own stories and characters and all of this, right? It's part of the reason why I'm so miffed about Space Marines not being able to have chapter masters anymore. It's like, what's the reward for me kit bashing and creating my own custom chapter master for my own custom chapter? Oh, there isn't. Amazing. How about that? Maybe the approach on this blood is the right thing to do. Just a few bright spots. Okay, well, we're gonna keep working at this. Just to create a bright streak. I mean, often when I'm doing the water basing, all of these get hit with foam and everything. So I wonder how that's going to affect the readability. But maybe this is sufficient. Maybe it's not about realism. Maybe it's a stylistic choice. That's what I'll tell people when they criticize it. You guys just don't get it. It's a stylistic choice, okay? It's called an art direction. What's up, Iron of the Spoon? Thanks for tuning in. I'll just catch up on chat real quick. Yeah, one of the reasons why I was making a custom chapter over a copy and paste with a well-established one. Yep. You can run him with the profile of a named character. You could just have him be a fancy-looking captain. It's true. I could play my chapter master as a fancy-looking captain. My chapter master is built off of the Calgar base, so like it's. I could play him as Calgar, and now I'm Ultramarines, which feels awesome. That is a way to do it, and then look, then at least I have the chapter master keyword. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things, right? Look, the game works better for tournaments if you can't make chapter masters, so I guess you don't have that in the game anymore. If/when I get a Blood Angels captain, I think that wing motif would be perfect to match the company banners they have. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Headcanon is the best part. Part of a fragmented, redacted Imperium. Hey, that's an interesting point, Francois. Nice little bit of art imitates life? No, wrong analogy. It's meta. That's what it is. What's your thoughts on making homebrew rules and changes to the game? I am all for it if the person you're playing with finds it to be in good taste. I think that's what it comes down to, right? If both players are down, then have at it. I came up, I think it's an original idea, right? I was on one of my older scripts, well, not an old video, fairly recent. I came up with this kind of adage around this idea. It's like we're the ones who make the game, technically, right? Like GW writes the rules and makes the models, but the game doesn't exist unless the hobbyists buy all their shit and then build all that shit and then paint all that shit. You see what I'm saying? It's like the game literally doesn't happen unless we make it. So like, why not change things so they better serve us? It seems, if both players are down, right? If both players are finding the things proposed to be in good taste and none of it's like, what's that meme when demons got invulnerable saves, or so when demons got demonic saves which could not be ignored, the way invulnerable saves could be ignored. In 9th edition, there was like a meme with like little kids playing. I'm butchering it. Anyways, as long as it doesn't feel like your homebrew rules are like the little kids just, my guy's better than your guy. Well, my guy has like a sword that automatically beats your guy. You know, then it becomes a bit embarrassing and awkward and in poor taste. But I think it's fairly easy to not let that happen if you have your wits about you. It's called modern art. You wouldn't understand me when they see how my minis are painted. Yep. That is always the best defense. The problem is, sometimes you see people whose models aren't painted well for whatever reason, right? And I'm not judging, but most of the time nobody will say anything. Usually friends will criticize your minis more than strangers. So that's more so where I'm coming from. Tramari says, I'm still unsure about my potential chaos corruption for my Space Marine homebrew. I posted on Discord, maybe just cramming in that 11th company as potential ties with Blood Angels? I don't know. Sounds complicated. I've had numerous talks about homebrew with my buddy Tavish, because he's also, he aligns with my sensibilities with regards to homebrew and 40k. With it being the most rewarding and fun part of the hobby. And we came to the conclusion that, and this will differ from person to person, right? So I'm not saying it's an objective thing, but I think there's something to it. But the idea is that it seems if you can basically position your stuff to be as similar to normal factions in 40k, that's like a good gauge for tastefulness. And it's sort of the bar that we've kind of adopted. For what it's worth, I thought I'd share. All of this wouldn't happen if it's not for us near the bottom. Like it's Sir Heavy Red Das Capital. No, I have not. I don't do nearly enough non-fiction reading. That is something I suppose I'm guilty of. Homebrew are very common in other tabletop games, But with wargaming, it seems players are a lot more rigid with wargaming rules, even when the established rules are horrible. Basically all of ninth edition. Oh, a man after... Oh, a person after my own heart. Jeez. Yeah, I was not particularly fond of ninth edition either. No worries, I'll always take up the mantle of honesty when others are socially incapable. Ah, good on you, Francois. No way I saw the model you're working on in Reels, and now you're on stream. Your stream is on my homepage. Oh, maker of warm bread. Well, welcome. Welcome to the stream. You have found my little corner of YouTube. You saw it on Reels, eh? Okay, so I know my posts on Instagram aren't being wasted. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm just plucking away at the Warp Spider, Phoenix Lord. Bit by bit is definitely a... Well, I said it when I started. It's going to be a long one. Options. It comes back to options. It's good to have them in your game. Yep, I would agree. There are certain things 10th edition, like, look, there are things I like in 10th edition that makes me enjoy the game more than... I enjoy playing 10th edition more than I enjoy playing 9th edition, for sure. But quite a few of those narrative options, as you put it, in 9th edition, like, man, I'm missing those. What is this even supposed to be? Oh, it's a cabbage from the warp. No, it's a it's the base for the RTLW Warp Spider Phoenix Lord. So she, well, I built it as a she, is her leg goes into that socket here, and she's going to be jumping out of the warp blast. It's a warp spider, you know, so they come out of the warp. And I guess this poor word bearer, I painted him like a word bearer, got blasted. Definitely suffered a mortal wound or two. And you know, it's been a pretty good turnout on the OSL, I think, on her. I think for all brush OSL, that's pretty good. Pretty pleased with myself on that one. Yeah, so she's gonna go in the base soonish, but probably best to do the edge highlighting before. Right? I mean, that just makes sense. Speaking of edge highlighting, it might be time to switch gears to that. I don't know how much more I want to paint on this water. So I'm going to put a whole bunch of liquid effects over top, and all of this might be a waste. Yeah, I didn't... Look, I'm not a defender of 9th edition. Like, it's the edition I basically only played 9th edition when me and the gang would go to mini wargaming for, like, events, which were basically narrative events anyways. But... at least 9th edition had my Salamander supplement. Selfishly. My selfish reasoning comes out. I am exposed. Oh, I know what I should do. We can work on this. Here, we can clean up the base a little bit with the Stegodon scale, because some of the water highlights are fat. And then I'll work on that gauntlet, so it looks kind of hot, like the way this one looks, or at least that's the intent. I see you've atted me, Alfarius. As someone who started Warhammer at the end of 9th, I think 10th edition simplified all the rules to make it more digestible. But they simplified a bit too much in some aspects. Yep, that's kind of the gist of it. I think so. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. You didn't even realize that it was supposed to be water until I said something. Well, I don't know if I should be saddened by that or... Look. The Eldar bases for my Eldar army are on water, or rocky outcrops on water, right? Usually basalt. And so I want to incorporate that here. It looks a lot more like water once all the extra effects go on, all those shiny, glossy layers. But this base has so much more going on, right? Obviously. Like, you're not really going to look at the water. That's my defense. I rest my case. I like that the new Sanguinary Priest is the wiener of my poll. Nice. I do love the supplements, though. Though the Iron Hands was broken to all hell. Yeah, GW doesn't know. They have a bad habit of making Iron Hands strong. And I think they should be strong. Okay, but within reason. Right? The true 5th Chaos God, God of Cabbages. I am starting to believe. Facts at what the 40k. No one will really notice when the water is on that model. Yep. That's... Yeah, after I... well, through the help of chat, after I came to that realization, maybe I'm getting too tunnel visioned on it, you know? Which is always good to get those reality checks, so to speak. The Cabbage God from RuneScape. I've never played RuneScape, but the Cabbage God is pretty funny. When do you think they're going to release a woman Custodes model? Or does Joey know that you men couldn't behave with a 10-foot tall muscle woman. Look, I have no problem with the, someone commented on my video, muscle mommies. I have no problem with it, okay? I think force feeding it into custodies is the problem. Will they do it? I don't know. It's weird, right? GW's been super, like, the controversy came to light, and they've said, like, I don't think GW has made any response acknowledging the community's reaction to, you know, to that bomb, as it were, right? So I don't know if they're gonna backpedal and, you know, pretend it never happened, or if they pumped the brakes, right? You think if they were, you know, to Francois's point earlier, if they were going on the DEI, like, hammer or whatever, you know, the kind of woke, if they wanted to appeal to those kind of sensibilities, right, for brownie points socially, I think they would have released a female custodies model with that codex, right? I think that change might have more to do with the, maybe what's going on at Amazon or something with their whole TV thing. To be a fly on the wall of those meetings, it would be very interesting. This flash gets yellow. Okay, we'll mix some of that in with our Wild Rider. Too sexy, GW will never make them. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree. GW probably won't make sexy models, but I think they could make female custodies models. And I think if they did, they would basically look like male custodies, in my opinion. Right? Maybe just the faces might be a little bit softer, maybe. Maybe have a different haircut. It's the masculine haircuts, right? I think that's probably what it would look like. Yeah, but GW doesn't usually want to make sexy models. Femstodies are a no-go at my table. Yep, I don't disagree. I mean, it's not, I don't know. It's weird, right? It takes you out of the whole. Yeah, I hate to do the my immersion meme, but yeah, my immersion's just like nuked. I don't particularly enjoy the premise. Personally, I think the easiest way for it to go is there are female custodies, there are male custodies. Good luck having normal. Yeah, good luck having a normal human differentiate them in that armor. Yeah, I agree. My sentiments pretty much. Peak physique, custard, mommy muscle, my mind telling no, but my body. Nice. Good one, good one. Also, maybe custodies just got to just change their gender every now and then so they can conquer every aspect of being human. I doubt it even matters, right? Every custodies character I've come across, even in the contemporary Dawn of Fire series, every time they interact with a mortal, they're like, oh yes, human emotions and gender differences are something I need to be mindful of, because this is not something that's in my world at all. Right? They're so above, they're transhuman, right? They're so above these, like, human differences. Muscle mummies are kind of popular, not gonna lie. Although it could be a Slaanesh trap. Speaking of Slaanesh traps, jeez, what a sentence. Speaking of Slaanesh traps, I think the Emperor's Children should have a duelist type unit when they get their range. And I think that duelist unit would, you know, ape the old duelist lineage they used to have in the Horus Heresy, right? As exemplary duelists, of course. But I think they should have cod pieces. I think they should have massive cod pieces, okay? And I think that would keep them from being hashtag cool. But also, it would make them uncomfortable. You know, in the way Slanesh, it would be to fight them. You're like, what's up with these guys and their giant cod pieces? What do you guys think? I'm struggling not to laugh at my own sense of humor. Oh, I goofed up the blood here. Shoot. Can I... No, my blood. My cod piece, you mean my sword? Yeah, exactly. I think if any Marine's power, if any faction of Marine should have cod pieces on their power armor, I think it should be the Emperor's Children, okay? That's all I'm saying. I think it'd be unique. We'll see. I feel like that's a interesting design route to go. I feel like it's less try-hard to be maximum cool. Because I think World Eaters are your max cool, you know? Like, they are the traders that, you know, you have your different dials of attributes. And like, oh, what are... The World Eater's dial, yeah, cool factors, like, cranked at 10. And I think, look, every faction does have they're fairly cool, but... I think the Emperor's Children's cool factor should be balanced by the uncomfortable factor isn't the right word. The factor that which makes the other player uncomfortable, or the enemy army, right? How they have fallen, you know, from their once noble ways. I think that's their shtick. And I think cod pieces are the key. I should make a cod pieces video. Emperor's Children should have cod pieces. Maybe I can do such a video once they reveal a model. Alright, I think that edge, the edge of that armor is reading as intended. A little bit. Spiky chastity belt for the sisters. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Let's just try and soften this edge here. Okay, so water's at a place that's ready for the water effects. Now, what else is there to do? We got edge highlighting on this marine a little bit. Okay, well we got some gray out, so we can begin edge highlighting some of these rocks. I think edge highlighting on the front probably wouldn't have our bounce slide. But these rocks will. Where is the armor color for Warriors? Probably pink and Toxic Mist. I'm not sure. We'll mix the pink horror with some of my gray paint. How about that? We'll figure it out as we go. We're kind of cooking by taste here. Okay, yeah, that works. That's an all right color. Oh yeah, maybe I should keep myself in focus, eh? That'd be good. Or in frame, rather. Gonna catch up on chat. Just a little overwhelming. But I mean, it's good. It's good, guys. Look, I'm not trying to jinx it, but this is like the healthiest the stream's ever been. Hooray! Right? So keep chatting. I'll try and keep up. Would the surgery require male DNA? That was never explicitly stated. Why would the Emperor do this for his finest warriors? I don't know. It's all a spiral downwards. What's your opinion on one-page rules? Adam Wellman. Welcome, Adam Wellman. What's my opinion on one-page rules? I think I'm all for it. Honestly, I think there should be competing rule sets. Competition breeds value for us, right? Whether you go with one-page rules or you go with GW, right? I haven't actually been able to have a game with one-page rules myself. My playgroup is, for better or for worse, fairly locked into the GW paradigm. Asking them to play with other rules would be... It's hard enough for me to say, hey, what if we do my stuff that's like nested in GW's? You know, it's like, I position my homebrew stuff to my playgroup like a mod, right? So it's like GW has their game, here's a mod, right? I want to try some stuff out. But one-page rules is like a bridge too far for me to get my playgroup to play. It's just like a totally different system, right? And then can't be bothered. It is what it is. Emperor's children with freaking lasers on their freaking cod pieces. Hell yes, Iron Spoon. That's what I'm talking about. I love that Dr. Evil reference. At what the 40k? Understand your position on Femstodes, but personally disagree and think that's fine. I mean, yeah. I think it's good. People can talk about issues and disagree. Nothing. It's called being a civilized human, right? Just discuss things reasonably with, you know, amicable interactions between people. I believe the canon is that was tried and failed. Something to do with Big E's DNA. Really? I didn't know that. Well, they could always retcon canon, and I say that with like a bit of backpedaling, right? Like, generally I'm not a fan of like retcons, but sometimes adaptations are done poorly, and you should retcon. It's just how it goes, right? Oh, this is weird freaking music, man. Okay. Where am I here? Fabius did talk about it, but did nothing to change it. At with the 40k, just a friendly chat of different opinions, no worries. With enough chaos, everything is possible. Like a skinny plague marine. Hey, I didn't expect that. That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. That's a beautiful quote, actually. If that was a comment on a video, I'd pin it. I'll tell you that right now. Nudge, nudge. Retcon boo. Look, sometimes sometimes you have a bad idea, right? Sometimes you say, sometimes you might think Primaris Marines are a good idea, and maybe you should retcon it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying maybe you should just retcon it and say they're just normal Marines at a new scale. I think there's nothing wrong with course correcting. If it's for the better, right? That's what I mean by retcons. Like it's contextual, right? If you're retconning something that no one likes, and you're making it more to their sensibilities, then what's the harm? Not everything needs to be the end of the world. Plus, don't forget this is all fiction and does not have much to do with it in real life, so no need to get angry over it. Yes, absolutely. That's always a good thing to remind people of, Searsmith. Certainly. Though sometimes my righteous fury just gets the better of me, you know? Like, I just think about how they introduced the lion and then he just doesn't have any interaction with Gilliman at all. Kills me. Things like that. Things like the word bearers just not getting proper rules in the Chaos Space Marine Codex when they are the first heretics, guys. Okay, like, am I crazy? Am I crazy for feeling that way? Oh gosh. Great clean one. He took a shower. Yeah. Back here, we might actually start getting some green on our edge highlights. Francois says, I think retcon should be reserved for filling in blanks, not corrections of established lore. I agree, but like I said, I think, I don't know. Do you disagree with the idea of retcons being used to correct things that are just established but in poor taste? I guess it opens up a window for subjective argumentation, right? Because then you could spin that and say, oh, it's poor taste for custodians only to be bad. So I guess we should retcon it, right? I guess that's what that does, but yeah, I don't know. And then you have to start arguing like the merits of each particular instance of retcon. Well, I goofed that edge. Terrible. we go again. Just ruining the model. We should just throw it in the bin. Oh, Bubble Bath Nurgle Army? That's pretty cool. I mean, I'd almost be certain the meme of "I just want to be pure" applies to Nurgle, right? Like, when the Death Guard are going around hosing everything with their Plague Spewers, I think they're probably thinking they're purifying, right? I find it funny that with the Agents of the Emperor stuff coming out, GW would release updated Grey Knights models, Exorcist upgrade sprue, but nothing happened. Yeah, that's really odd. Product updates, or product line updates, are essentially tied into codex releases in 10th edition. That's like the model, it seems. So forcing in Grey Knights here basically means no Grey Knight product line updates. That's an interesting consideration. I love 40k for the grimdark realities and implications of galactic civilization. It's not opinion that men and women are not physically equal. Can't we just stop the delusional parts and enjoy our lore? Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'd say no, it opens up a can of worms like with Star Wars. Bring Maul back, now a lightsaber wound is just a scratch. Just a scratch. Sad but true. How about that Star Wars, eh? Yeah, Grey Knights are an awkward one. They're just a bit too unique model-wise to just use Primaris kits, but unlike the Death Watch, for example, right? But by all accounts, in world, they, unless I'm mistaken, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see why in world Grey Knights wouldn't be Primaris as well, right? Or did they write in a lore reason why they just won't work? Which seems silly to me if that was the case. Oh, fuck. I ruined it. Oh, no. not the 40k. I agree, but it's still weird. A new book gonna come out with Exorcist as the main lads, if no GW Exorcists are there. But nope. Which Grey Knight unit are the Exorcists? Because you say Exorcist, and all I can imagine is the Sisters of Battle organ tank. What's this? What are you guys talking about? Grey Knights are supposed to have access to some of the best war gear in the Imperium, yet their vehicle options are extremely limited. True. Yeah, they should have, they probably should be using Primaris stuff in lore. At least the base chassis of a Primaris Marine, right? But even things like transports and pulsers, right? Like, or repulsors. Weird. It's awkward. I don't... You know, I totally understand the arguments for not doing it, but... In world, it's weird. And this is an example, right? This is an example of where retconning Primaris to just being more Marines, normal Marines, would kind of remedy that issue, right? Then you don't have this awkward situation where why aren't Grey Knights making use of Primaris Marines that are superior, a superior foundation to build your chapter upon? Oh, the Exorcists are a chapter that gets possessed by demons. Well, yes. I think as a rite of passage, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's why I think they'll never get a new vehicle, something we've never seen before. So you'll have to buy 3. I don't think it's possible. That is certainly possible. Yeah, it's very... That sounds like GW. It sounds right. It'll be like the Impulsor that makes 3 different variants, but only one is good right now, and you'll want 3 of that one. But next edition, you'll want 3 of a different variant. That's the real move. Sorry I had to go for a bit, but you're back. Welcome back, Sierra Smith. Hot take, I think the newer books have made the Primaris better in my eyes. It took the smartest man in the Imperium 10,000 years to make minor improvements to what the Emperor did. Over 100? Or in less than 100. Wait, do GW still have a Tech Marine? Do Grey Knights still have a Tech Marine? I don't know. Yep. Perhaps. Column Primaris from every Primarch gene seed, but Grey Knights don't have a Primarch per se. And they're a secret. Nothing going to suggest Call knows anything about Grey Knights. That's an interesting point, Francois. Okay, that does clear... That's an argument that helps things make more sense. Right? So, Grey Knights have unknown gene seed? But regardless of the Primaris reinforcements being pulled from every Primarch's original gene seed and cultivated in secret, the apotheosis process for Primaris is still able to be given out to chapters to do with as they please, right? I don't think a Grey Knight's secret gene seed lineage is going to prevent them from being able to build their chapter on a stronger foundation, like a stronger template of Marine. I don't know. I think this is looking pretty good. All the liquid stuff I'm gonna do off stream. I feel like it's such a sit and wait kind of thing. You do so many processes and then you're always waiting for it to dry. So that's probably gonna be all for the base. I don't want to start anything else today because I'm gonna wrap up the stream shortly, to be honest. But man, time flew by today, guys. This stream was fun, and it's thanks to the company of everyone in chat. Here she is. I do need to do edge highlighting on her. Maybe you can do that tomorrow. I feel like I have closed off so many streams talking about how, it's time to do her edge lighting. Maybe it's just procrastination. I mean, there's a little bit of edge highlighting going on. Here's something I can do real quick. I can add a little bit of Hex Wraith to those water crests. No, I have to stay with you for a few more hours. I'm flattered. The stream is being so enjoyed. However, I have an appointment that I must meet. So unfortunately, I will have to wrap up the stream. But most certainly, I'll be streaming tomorrow, and hopefully, knock on wood, I won't have the technical difficulties like I did today. Just all of a sudden, the technical difficulties just snuck up on me. Like, why did the technology stop working all of a sudden? Same hardware, same software, just, today it just doesn't want to work. So I'll prep a little bit earlier than usual to make sure it's not repeating that same problem. But I feel like the issue's been remedied. Yep, we're wrapping up the stream. Here we go. Thanks to everyone who tuned in, everyone who's chatting away. The company is greatly appreciated, and it was genuinely fun today. I mean, look, I appreciate all every stream you guys have accompanied me on. But the liver chat definitely brings with it more energy, for sure. For sure. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. We're chipping away on the warp cabbage.